Don't forget, you can always watch our show online, Facebook, Twitter, RacinBoys.com, 3 live video platforms right here on Racing Boys. Joining us now is a guy I call a very good friend of mine, and we are so excited to team up with Spire Sports and Entertainment with the number 77 car of Justin Haley for next weekend's Cup race at Kansas Speedway. Jeff joins us now. Jeff Dickerson, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Scotty. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm almost giddy that Racing Boys, it gets a chance to ride on the hood of your car along with Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is a big deal for us, and it's all in promotion of the truck race at Knoxville, right?
That's right. I mean, I think we've got, I think we have a good opportunity this weekend or next weekend to showcase a lot of our friends and people that are near and dear to us with, obviously with you, Scott, and everything, how far you've come, since we first met.
Right.
We've got our race team. And we've got Knoxville, which has been a really cool project we've been a part of for several years now. So we're pretty excited.
Let's talk about the truck race at Knoxville. We were watching the sprint cars last night. They were going really fast around there. That feature was fantastic. Let me ask you real quick, did you think Reitzel was going to take over a David Gravel at the end of that race if that yellow doesn't come out? Do you think that was going to happen last night?
Well, look, racing... You never know,
right?
It's when you see guys take advantages of. Look, I think you've been around long enough. You win some at the end, and you lose some at the end because of an untimely caution.
Right.
So, I'm going to stay neutral because I've been on both sides of it.
Right.
But anything that I think anything that's exciting for the fans, and I think they left out of there seeing a pretty decent show. I think that's all you can ask for.
Jeff, I think you have a future as a politician down the road sometime. So, hey, listen, let's talk about what the dirt track at Bristol did for the Cup cars. Obviously, you guys were there. You ran your cars there. Just talk about what that meant to the sports, because for a lot of people that don't know, you and Jason Leffler traveled around as little snot-nosed kids.
That's right.
A long time ago, went to a lot of races. So you're a dirt guy by nature, right? So let's talk about what this does for NASCAR with the Cup cars running on the dirt. How much traction did we get, and how much did that pull the dirt fan back into NASCAR?
Well, I think it shows you. I mean, Scott, that's a great question. I think it just shows either how far we've come, right? As where NASCAR's, and Fox and everybody's open-minded enough to try something like that. Mm-hmm. And I just think about when I was doing what you're talking about, when I was chasing the USAC stuff back in the in the 90s and all that, where the closest thing we got to NASCAR was when the Busch cars and the trucks would come to IRP,
right?
And we just thought it was the greatest thing in the world, but it seemed a million miles away, and only a couple guys here and there could. You were happy to see Jeff make it, and Tony make it, and Kenny Irwin make it, and Mike Bliss make it. The list goes on, but it still seemed like it was a long ways away.
And
Leffler, oh for sure, and Jason, of course,
yeah.
But it just seemed like it was a long ways away. So when you get something where, I think when you can get the Cup cars on dirt, or the trucks on dirt for that matter at Knoxville, it just shows you how close you are. Remember at the Cup race at Bristol. First of all, I thought it was a really cool show. Obviously, I think I think everybody's learning on how to, those cars are super heavy, and how to make the dirt work. And I know they learned a lot, and we're excited to. We'll see it on the schedule again next year. Mm-hmm. But, Chris Windham was in the race, and Shane Golobic was in the race. And, when you have those two open wheelers where, again, I think they were at Bristol one day and they were probably at Kokomo the next, it just shows you how close, You know what I mean? A sprint car driver around the country is to the Cup Series. And I think to show that we're also a small world, it may seem far, far away, but it's, you know, I mean, we're all super, super closer than we think. I think that's the way I would put it.
Well, and I think the great thing you mentioned there, that there's some drivers that typically wouldn't get an opportunity to drive at that level, but because they were on dirt, NASCAR approved them, and it creates the opportunity to put eyes on those guys and maybe create opportunities for them. You know, me personally, I don't want to lose any more of my dirt drivers to the Cup guys down south, right?
I hear you.
I mean, seriously, we hate losing those guys, right? You know, we see some up-and-coming drivers that looks like they're going to be picked away from us here pretty quick, you know. So I just think that this is really good. It was good for the fans. Now let's talk about the trucks going to Knoxville and what that means, because now this is a new venue. It's the world capital of sprint car racing, right across the street from the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. What is this going to mean to have the trucks run at maybe one of the most historic tracks in the country?
Right, and so I think that was our whole idea, Scott, and I think that was our whole point when we partnered with the. I mean, obviously we've been in a partnership with them for several years, but when we went to the fair board and said this is something that we'd like to do, Knoxville is a world-class facility.
Yes.
And it's not only is it, it's one of the most iconic racetracks in the country, and we'd put it up against Daytona and Indy and, you know what I mean, Williams Grove and Eldora and, every place. So we want Knoxville in that conversation. And so to us, that's what it means. So that, to us, hey, I don't want to lose any more guys up to, any more than you do.
Right.
But I think showcasing Knoxville, what it's about, we think it's also the world's greatest party for the 410 Nationals and that whole Speed Weeks with 360 Nationals and so forth. So anything we can do to get more eyes, on that racetrack is what we want to do. I think that all that will do is allow us to, tell a more compelling story to sponsors, to fans, that you're essentially getting the best of the best at Knoxville every time you come there, whether that's a weekly show or whether that's the 410 Nationals to the truck race. And I will tell you that as much as I don't want to lose anymore, nothing would make me happier to see somebody like Brian Brown,
right,
or hop in a truck there and school 35 other trucker drivers
right
there, and I think that would just blow the lid off that joint. So,
yep.
But that's again, to us, I think it's just something that we want to, whether we like it or not, Scott. There'll be more eyes on that race, the truck race at Knoxville, than there would be for the 410 Nationals. So when we're trying to showcase that property, that seems like we can kill two birds with one stone there.
And a great thing, again, just like the Cup race at Bristol, we're seeing opportunities. You mentioned it, Brian Brown. We know that there's some other guys that are going to get opportunities to run the trucks as well. Again, putting eyeballs on some of the great talent that we have in open wheel racing.
For sure. And look, and I think Knoxville is actually going to be more conducive to stock cars on dirt than Bristol or even Eldora was. I just think that the way that the track shape and how it rolls, and I just think that we're going to. I think it's going to be a great show. Is it going to be as fast as the sprint cars? Probably not.
No.
Right, but I think it's going to be a bit of a more compelling, show.
Hey, Jeff, this is Kirk. Just kind of talking more about Knoxville and how that's more conducive to. I agree with you. I think that's going to be a better show on dirt for the heavy stock cars than even Eldora was, to be right honest with you, because of the way it's laid out, and the way they do the dirt at Knoxville. The Duncans are
the best.
A great job of preparing the dirt surface up at Knoxville. So I think it's all set up to be a great show. But just to kind of talk about, you say you've been in a partnership with Knoxville for several years now, helping with the promotions of the racetrack. How has that gone for you, getting involved I know Kendra does a great job up there of doing the promotions up there, but just kind of assess. You've been in it several years now with Knoxville.
Yeah.
How's that working out?
The managing side of things.
Yeah, I think I think you touched on the magic behind it and the secret behind it, and I think it starts two ways. One, I think there's no better champion for that place and somebody that wakes up every day caring about that place and how we can make it better than Kendra Jacobs. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about me and Leffler running around there forever, I think remember Kendra's been around this a long time too,
right? And
with her family, and so I think she's a great steward for the place. We found the Fair Board to be incredibly supportive to all of our dumb ideas along the way, and so it's been an incredibly rewarding experience for us, and even watching 410 Nationals grow over the last 3 or 4 years, where we've got the sellouts again. So for us, it's a labor of Knoxville is a labor of love, and it's a personal look. I think it's as personally rewarding to us as anything. But I don't know. I mean, I think that I would call it a success. I hope the Fair Board calls it a success.
Yeah.
But we love it, and again, I think it's also I think what we're also trying to do is dirt track racing we're at kind of a crossroads where I think we're becoming, whether this is good or bad, we can debate this, probably for an hour, whether it's becoming more mainstream. I think it's back to the days of where drivers can make a living. It used to be, hey, we're just the luckiest guys in the world being able to go race, 100 times a year everywhere. But I think dirt track racing is also coming to a place where it's more mainstream, and guys can make a pretty decent living. And so when we can marry that up with a place like Knoxville, where I think we have a really great weekly show, and then again, we have the truck race this year, we have the SRX, race this year. Mm-hmm. We're also trying to introduce, I think, new things to our fan base to kind of keep them interested, or show them new things to see if they like it. But at the same time, also showcase what Knoxville is and its rightful, what we think is its rightful place as a leader on the dirt track scene.
We're visiting with Jeff Dickerson from Spire Sports and Entertainment. Jeff, let's talk a little bit more about the truck race coming up. Again, that's going to be on July 9th. Let's talk about how people can get involved, how they can buy tickets. Let's get some people up there and watch this race. Are you going to be limited on capacity? Do we know that yet?
I don't know that we know that just yet. I think it's as it is everywhere, Scott. I think it's a fluid situation.
Right.
We would. We'd love to have a full house there. For that weekend. I don't know that we're going to be allowed to be. But Knoxville's spacious enough that if they let us have 10,000 people there, I think that would be
fine. Yeah.
We'd be fine, right? So with the suites and so forth. And remember, that's USAC Corn Belt weekend too. So we've got the trucks and the USAC cars, the USAC Sprint cars there. That weekend. So again, it's kind of showing it's untraditional stuff for a usual weekend, I think, at Knoxville. But for tickets, you can go to KnoxvilleRaceway.com, and you can pick your seat and or call the box office and ask for Kim, and she'll dial you in.
Right. Well, Kim does a great job up there at Knoxville. And let me tell you, folks, you want to be there for the inaugural truck race at Knoxville. There's only one of those, right? So if you're listening somewhere around the Midwest right now on this smoking radio station, somewhere around these 6 states that we're broadcasting to right now, get your tickets in advance. Do not wait, because you don't know if they're going to be limited. So get your tickets now. Do not wait, because you want to be involved in the inaugural truck race at Knoxville Raceway. Jeff, we really appreciate you taking the time. How are you enjoying being a Cup car owner? TJ and you have really invested. I know you hockey teams now. You got a lot of things going on, but how's the Cup side of things? You happy with the way things are going for you?
I think we're right where we're supposed to be. Sundays are really hard. and
right.
Us kind of stepping up in weight class this year. Look, it kind of shows. I think the level of competition. I think we've got really good equipment this year, and it's still very, very difficult.
Tough.
But
yeah.
For us, as you know, the bet was always on the new car that's coming next year. So I think our victories are more behind the scenes,
mm-hmm.
but I think we're truly capable of running, top 15s, right now when we just execute. But it's been fun. It's a lot more expensive, Scott, than we thought. But,
imagine that.
But it is, yeah. But it is. It's a really rewarding experience when and it's just like when we all kind of grew up, we're like, man, if we could ever own one of those things, this is what we would do, right? We would hire a driver like Corey, right? We would put in a young shoe like Justin, or for that matter, on the other hand, it's just like if we could ever showcase our friends, right? Like RacinBoys and 810. You know what I mean? It's just like we have opportunities to do things that we never really thought that we would have the opportunity to do. And we want to take advantage of that and help our friends at the same time.
Man.
And we remember you celebrating that win with Justin Haley at Daytona here a couple of years ago.
That was pretty big, wasn't it, bud?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Scott, we're the luckiest people in the world. I don't think there's anything that is more, a better example of that than what we did to everybody at Daytona a couple of years ago. So it's good to have a trophy in the trophy case already. We hope for many more.
Hey, listen, luck has nothing to do with it, my friend. You and TJ have earned everything that you have. You're hard workers. You're dedicated. You wake up thinking about this stuff. You go to bed thinking about this stuff, and that's what it takes to be successful. And TJ and yourself have done a great job with Spire Sports and Entertainment, and we are so blessed to be involved with you guys and the things that you help us with behind the scenes with our personal stuff. It's a blessing to have you in our corner, and we can't thank you enough for what you've done for us. No,
I appreciate you saying that, Scott. We feel the exact same way. I mean, I think of our dusty parking lots in South Dakota and any place around the Midwest putting on those ASCS races, and it's just like we get as much joy doing that as we do on what we do on Sundays in the Cup Series. But it just to touch on something we talked about earlier, it just kind of just shows how there's really we're all a lot closer than it seems. Even whatever dirt track to Sundays in the Cup Series, we're all a lot closer than it seems. Even all of us that are crisscrossing the country chasing dirt track races, it's all right there.
I concur, my friend. Well, thanks for being on the show, Jeff. We appreciate you. We can't wait till next weekend. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out in PA, but I know.
Nothing wrong with that. That's fortunate. That's also very fortunate.
Nothing wrong with Williams Grove and Selinsgrove, right?
Nope.
Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, Jeff. Thanks so much, buddy. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I'll see you guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
See you, Kurt.
There you have it. Jeff Dickerson from Spire Sports and Entertainment right here on Track Talk. We'll be back with more in a moment. Pat Warren joins us, president of Kansas Speedway.